So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the fifth day session on design of experiments in engineering, and it's a AICT sponsored STTP program. And today we have a resource person, Dr. D. Chakradhar from IIT Palakkad, Associate Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. So, let me give a brief introduction about today's speaker. Sir has done his BE from Sri Krishna Devaraya University, Anantapur in 2004, and MTech from NIT Warangal on advanced manufacturing processes, and PhD on electrochemical machining at NIT Warangal in 2012. And that's how I came to meet Chakradhar sir during his PhD time. And sir also has teaching experience from Srinidhi Engineering College, and then he also worked in R&D sector in an industry in Crompton Greaves Limited as a senior executive, 10 to 12. And later he joined NIT Warangal NIT Surathkal after PhD as assistant professor, and he served there from 2012 to 2017. And currently in 2017 he joined IIT Palakkad, and he is currently working there at IIT Palakkad. And sir has published more than 50 different international journals and conferences from elsewhere, Tel Francis, ASTM, etc. And sir also has a project worth of 14 lakhs on by SERB on nano-based electrochemical machining. And sir also has guided 6 PhDs, and ongoing 2 PhDs are there. And in spite of a busy schedule, sir has accepted the request, and he's here to share his what you call case studies on Taguchi methods in specific. And I think this will be like most preferred what you call design of experiment that generally most of the researchers will be willing to take up. But like you might have already heard by this time, Taguchi, if at all it is to be selected, it has to be selected very carefully. And that's where Chakradhar sir is going to deal about when to and how to select these Taguchi if at all we want to. So thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting the request and sparing the time for us. Over to you, sir. I have already made you co-host, so you may share the screen now. Sir, your voice unmute.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind introduction. So I once again welcome all the participants on design of experiments in engineering, and I welcome to my session on Taguchi method. And I thank Dr. Varun sir for inviting me here as a resource person. I also thank department head of the department, mechanical engineering, principal, and also administration for encouraging to organize such faculty development programs. So I'll start my session, and for the sake of bandwidth, I would like to mute my video so bandwidth will be good, and I will share my presentation. In between, if any disturbance or something is there, you can unmute and you can call me, and you can convey to me. I can adjust accordingly.
Sure, sir. And if any difficulty, you participants also can type in the chat so that I can convey the same to the speaker.
Yes. So chat I may not be able to see, but if anybody convey to
yes,
me,
sir, I'll be.
Yes.
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
Yeah, hope you are able to see the first slide, Taguchi method.
Yes, sir.
So today's presentation, I made like 2-3 case studies in which I have worked, my research group has worked, and the few case studies which I worked as a student also. So among all the research, Taguchi method is involved. So I have used Taguchi method for several occasions. So I have consolidated all those things, and I want to share my experience in this Taguchi method. So before going to this, this is the outline of my presentation: introduction to optimization, Taguchi method, and 3 case studies. One is on electrochemical machining, and remaining 2 studies on conventional machining. So maybe here the participants may be of a different backgrounds, but I'll try to make sure so I can start from the beginning, so that at the end of presentation you can also get the relevant concepts of manufacturing engineering. But we can focus on, for example, even though if it is not relevant to the area, you can just think like in your area, if there are any process parameters, if there are any output parameters, you can relate the concept, Taguchi technique concepts, you can relate it to your area. So why do we need optimization? So the purpose of optimization is to achieve the best design relative to a set of uh, prioritized criteria or constraints. So if you are having constraints, if you are having some criteria, with those constraints and with those criteria, what is the best solution we can get? So this is all about optimization. We can have optimization in different areas. So we all the industries and companies, they will use these optimization techniques for profits. For example, if there is a shop floor space, the shop floor space has to be utilized. So all the machines on the shop floors has to be arranged in such a way that the space will be utilized to a maximum. And so, and even the workflow, when there is a workflow, the distance between the machines and all those things will be optimized such a way that we will get a benefit. If it is a design optimization, so design of that structure is optimized such a way that minimum material will be used, or the weight is minimum, or the output strength of that product is good. So for that we need some design optimization. When it comes to process, so in process also there will be so many input parameters and so many output parameters. If these input parameters are selected carefully, then we can get a output. So for that we need optimization. So to know, to do the optimization, a person who is dealing with that process or with that machine should have a complete idea about that machine. He should have a proper experience, then only he can get. Suppose if it is a new to him, or if there is a new process that has to be incorporated into that machine, so then it will be completely difficult. In such cases, we need to conduct some experiments, know about that, and later we will select that experiments. In that case, these optimization techniques, Taguchi techniques, or design of experiments, these statistical techniques will come into picture. So in my topic, so today I'm dealing with metal cutting processes. So what type of optimization is required in metal cutting processes? So usually in metal cutting industries, there are two important factors. One is quality and other one is machining cost. So if in metal cutting industries, if they are able to machine the products or machine the components with less cost, so then it is benefit to them. And also if they are meeting the geometrical tolerances, or if they are meeting the surface roughness requirements, then it is also a requirement. For that, suppose if you take any lathe machine or milling machine or CNC or a machining center, it will have many input parameters. So if those input parameters are also having so much of levels, so like spindle speed, we can vary from 50 rpm to 3000 rpm, or depending on the capacity of the machine, we can go up to 5000 rpm also. What rpm has to be selected, and what is the depth of cut we need to select, and what is the feed that has to be selected, so that we will get a good surface finish. By the same time, material removal rate is also fast. So for that we need to conduct experiments. After conducting experiments, by doing some statistical analysis, we will come to know only these are the process parameters, these are the required process parameters at which we can conduct we can go ahead. So for such cases we need optimization. And if we classify, if we look into classify into conventional techniques and non-conventional techniques. In conventional techniques also, broadly they are divided into design of experiments, mathematical interactive search. In design of experiments, this Taguchi method, factorial based design, response surface methodology, all these things are coming. In mathematical interactive search, dynamic programming based algorithms, non-linear programming algorithms, and linear programming based algorithms. And in non-conventional, so these non-conventional algorithms are like, they won't give a definite solution. So whereas in conventional techniques, they will give definite solutions. So non-conventional are like mostly they are soft computing techniques, genetic algorithm, simulated annealing, taboo search. These are all like soft computing techniques. So they will give a range of output parameters, or sometimes the prediction of output parameters. If you are training the based on the experimental data, you are training the system. After that, it can predict. So our focus is on design of experiments. So design of experiments we will do. So when there is a new thing that we are going to do on our process, suppose for example a lathe machine is there. For that lathe, you have modified a tool, or you want to know the effect of a new coating, tailor made coating. So for that, so you need to conduct some experiments. So when there are so many parameters and so many levels, at that time it will be very difficult for us to know what type of experiments we need to conduct. So that's why this design of experiments will be very much important. So it will give a certain set of instructions, so that the experiments has to be conducted in that form only, and we can come to some conclusions. So in that, Taguchi method is one of the old technique, and nowadays there are so many other optimization techniques. And today's session I'll be covering about Taguchi technique, and also the techniques which can compare with the Taguchi technique, and also what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, all such things we will come across in today's presentation. So Taguchi methods in quality engineering. Before we go into the design of experiments and Taguchi method, we'll just see what is this Taguchi method philosophy. So how it has started, all those things we can discuss. So this Taguchi method was proposed by Dr. Genichi Taguchi. He is a Japanese electrical engineer and also a statistician. So he had done a lot of contribution in Taguchi method as well as robust design. He is also named as father of Taguchi method, and he has developed many statistical tools for quality of manufacturing goods. So during World War II, so he has used all these statistical techniques for improving the telecommunication devices. So in such way, he was a very renowned electrical engineer as well as a statistician. On his name only, this technique Taguchi method is named. So where many people will use this. So not only in mechanical, it will be used in all the engineering branches. So where there is a process, where there is input parameters, where there are output parameters. So by this method, we can choose the parameters and analyze the performance. So in such cases, this method is very much helpful. So before we go further, we will know about noise factors. What are noise factors? What type of noise factors are there? Suppose if we take any process, if there is any output, so definitely the output will have some effect. So some of the parameters, some of the things, because of that we will not get a desired output. There may be small error in that output. So that uncontrollable factors are called noise. For example, this noise will be of, we can classify into three types: unit to unit noise, internal noise factors, external noise factors. Suppose if you conduct some experiment, so you won't get the desired output. So sometimes we think like whatever the output we got, slightly it is varied from the desired output. It may be because of a noise. So what type of noise are there? So unit to unit noise means sometimes this noise can be caused by variability of raw material. Suppose if you have used one type of raw material, you will get one set of output. If you are changed the raw material, you will definitely get the output will be varied. So it also depends on human participation. Suppose if one person conducts the experiment, we'll get some output, and slightly if different person conduct experiment, so there will be a small change in the output. And internal noise factors, so like is there, if there are any defects in the raw material, or if there is a lot of fatigue in the metal parts, or operational errors, by that also we will get some errors. So these are called internal noise factors. External noise factors are such as some which are external to the setup, which are external to the experiment, or which are external to the process. For example, temperature. So if we conduct the experiment at a cold area, so where the temperature is less than 15 degrees, we'll get some output. And if the same experiment is conducted in equator, near to the equator, and the temperature are almost like 40-45 degrees centigrade, there we'll get a different output. It also depends on humidity, raw material supplied, or sometimes voltage. So these are different types of noises. So in this Taguchi, so mainly signal to noise is found out, like the signal to noise ratio, whichever the output parameter is having maximum signal to noise ratio, that particular experiment is considered as a good experiment. So we will come to those things. So, and also robust design. A robust design is one in which the function and performance of product or process are relatively insensitive to variations of any of these noises. Suppose we have seen these types of noises. So design should be robust. If you have any design, or if you are having any process, that particular process should be robust. So all these noises, it should able to sustain, and it should, so its output should not vary. Because of those noises, its output should not vary. So once again I'll repeat, a robust design is one in which the function and performance of a product or process are relatively insensitive to variations in any of these noise factors. So this product will be insensitive. So some of the examples, if we see, robust design in products and processes. By this robust design, suppose aircraft in a stormy weather, it can go, and also in a clean weather, it has to go. So that is a robust design. So that such aircraft, all the conditions are set such a way that it can withstand any type of climate. And hospital operation room that maintains lighting on life support system when electrical power to the hospital is interrupted. Even if there is any interruption in the electrical power, the hospital, it will maintain the lighting in life support system. So it should not go out of the power. So for that particular system should be robust. So it should have 2-3 alternatives. Whenever there is a power fluctuation, this particular system should not get affected. It function should start whatever may be the input conditions. So such robust designs were very much proposed by Taguchi. So, and when it comes to process design, suppose first one is a product design. When it comes to a process, if there is a machine, if it is having some input parameters, if it is having some output parameters, so it will give, so that particular machine should select some of the processes, some of the parameters such a way that the output should be good, it should be beneficial. So for example, if you take a turning operation, so you need to select the process parameters such a way that you will get a good surface finish. So whatever may be the input parameters, so throughout the wide range of cutting speeds. So suppose plastic injection molding operation, the molds a good part despite variation in ambient temperature and humidity in the factory. So even though if there is any variation in the ambient variation in the factory, so this plastic injection molding should produce good parts. Similarly, the forging operation should give good parts in spite of temperatures of the raw material. So these are the robust design and process. And Taguchi loss function. So Taguchi has defined poor quality as the loss a product costs society from the time the product is released for shipment. Suppose in a product is released to the shipment, or when it goes to the customer, so if the product is defective, so whatever the amount it is creating loss, that is called poor quality. So it may be a cost to operate, failure to function, maintenance, repair costs, customer dissatisfactions, damage cost due to the poor design. So all these things will be considered as poor quality. And there are two comparisons, like conventional quality and Taguchi's quality understanding. In conventional quality understanding, if you see this figure, so lower standard limit, upper standard limit. Suppose if there is any product, so that product is given some tolerance. If that product lies in this range, then only that particular product will be um, accepted. For example, if you take a dimension of a cylindrical shaft that is machined, so if it is coming in this range, then only it is accepted. If it is exceeding this upper standard limit or lower standard limit, so that particular product will be rejected. In Taguchi method, so the loss, it is defined in the within the safe limits also. Within the safe limits also, it says like whenever it is deviating from the desired range, so then it is partial quality loss. It is considered as a partial quality loss. You can see the curve. So if the deviation is more from the desired value, then the loss will be more. So and after the it exceeds this upper standard limit or lower standard limit, so that particular thing will be rejected. But even if we consider within the safe limit also, if it is more parts are deviating from the desired range, so if the points are here, so then some correction should be taken in internal factory or internal process, so that this particular partial loss also uh, can be reduced. So this is loss function, and we can see this loss function. So where L is the loss, M is the theoretical value or desired value, Y is the actual value or actual value of the product. So for example, suppose if M is 10 and Y is 12, so we'll get 2. So and the power of it and into one constant, it will give some value. Suppose if Y is constantly increasing, so then loss also will be increasing. So as the product it is moving away from the desired range, the loss will be proportional. So this is Taguchi loss function. And when it comes to process design, so we need to conduct some experiments, and after conducting the experiments, we will come to know what are the optimal process parameters, so what are the desired desired output. All those things we will come to know. For that, we need to conduct experiments. So if we want to conduct experiments, there are different types of conducting experiments. One is full factorial design, other one is Taguchi orthogonal designs. Full factorial design means all the available combinations we can conduct the experiment. Suppose if we are having 3 process parameters and 3 levels, all the 3 process parameters into 3 levels, 27 experiments we can conduct. Suppose if the process parameters are increasing and the levels are increasing, the number of experiments will be high. If the experiment costs are less and if they are easy to conduct, then there is no problem. But if the cost of experiment is high, it consumes a lot of resources and a lot of time, then we cannot afford conducting all the combinations of experiments. Then we need to conduct the experiments in orthogonal array design. So it will give a array of experimental list such a way that we can conduct experiments in less number, and also we can get the desired desired recommendations we can get. What are the optimal process parameters, or which parameter is having more significance on the output, such things we will get. So this difference we can see. What is the difference between full factorial design and Taguchi design? In Taguchi design, mostly orthogonal arrays are used. Orthogonal array means it is a set of experiments or a series of experiments defined such a way that with very minimum number of experiments we can get the output. So these are the differences. Here in full factorial design, all the combinations will be checked, whereas in Taguchi design only 9, 18, 27. So very less number of combinations will be tried. So advantages. So here, since all the combinations are done, so we will know more about that process. But here advantages, since we are doing very less number of experiments, so cost of experiments will be reduced. So whereas here cost of experiments will be reduced. So here sometimes the interaction effects we cannot get in Taguchi method. So this full factorial design is helpful if entire thing completely characterize the performance. So then only we have to go for full factorial. Suppose if we are interested only in maximizing or minimizing the performance, then this Taguchi orthogonal array will be helpful. And also we will see about different optimization techniques apart from Taguchi method. So they are multi-objective optimization. We will see the difference between Taguchi and multi-objective optimization soon. So in Taguchi method, if it can give optimal process parameters for only one output parameter. Suppose if it may be a material removal rate or surface roughness. So for that parameters. For example, multi-objective optimization, considering all the output parameters, so it will give the optimum process parameters. So simultaneously increasing the material removal rate, reducing the surface roughness. So such decisions will be taken. And also like decision, multi-criteria decision. Suppose if we want to purchase a mobile phone, so we need to rate few things. So like suppose we are interested in the megapixel, so camera quality. So if the need is to prepare some videos or edit the videos, then we need to give more weightage for the megapixel camera quality. Or some people may be interested in speed of the mobile phone, then he will give importance to the RAM. So then, so you are giving points for each and every specification. So if more interested more in the RAM, then you are giving more points to the RAM. And so based on the available specifications in the market, you are tallying and you are taking the decisions. These types of decisions we can take by multi criteria decision making. So even in processes, like if we are getting output parameters, if I feel one of the output parameter is very important, so I will give more weightage for that output parameter, and I will see among all the available alternatives which alternative is best. So such type of decisions we can take. So Taguchi method, so this was developed during 1950s. So this method mainly uses orthogonal array. We'll discuss what are orthogonal arrays. So Taguchi orthogonal array is design of some is a design, and it's a type of fractional factorial design. It is a partial factorial design. So orthogonal array is nothing but, so it is a set of experiments. So in that particular order, we need to conduct experiment. It is an array. So we can conduct experiments in a desired way. Like there will be L9 orthogonal array, L18 orthogonal array, sometimes L27. So like that. So in the available combinations, we have to conduct the experiments. And these are the steps in Taguchi method. So we need to define the problem initially. What is our objective? So if I am having a process, so what is my main goal? So that has to be decided. So for example, a turning process. So my main objective is the surface finish. So I will decide, whatever may be the situation, I want a very good surface finish. Then I will concentrate only on surface finish. I will see like which parameters are good. So if he is an experienced operator, he will directly know what process parameters he can take. Suppose in that machine, if there is a new thing added, suppose there is a new cutting tool insert, or there is a new coating, or there is a tool holder design is changed, or this environment, cooling environment is changed. So at that time, so some experiments can be conducted and we can come to a conclusion these parameters are good. So like that, we have to find out the objective, and we need to find which factors that are to be considered. So it will, there will be many factors, there will be many parameters. If it is a lathe, cuttings velocity, feed, depth of cut, these are all important parameters. Apart from that, if I am interested to know about the variation in cutting tool materials, that also I can choose. So these particular factors and also levels, under which levels I need to vary, that is very important. So before you choose levels, you need to do trial experiments. You need to know about that particular process, that particular process by the literature, if it is a research problem. And also you need to conduct the experiments, and at the all the levels which it can perform the process. So after that, you will know among the all the experiments, there will be only some set of experiments which will give a good result. So that particular range should be selected. In that range, if you divide into 3 levels or 5 levels, by Taguchi method, you can pick a good level. So among the 3 levels, so level 2 is good or level 3 is good. So such type of decisions we can take. So initially you have to choose the factors, as also the levels you have to choose. So later, after choosing these factors and levels, orthogonal array has to be chosen. It all depends on the factors and also how many levels that are available. So for that orthogonal array we need to do. And after that, conducting experiments. You have to conduct experiments, and these experiments have to be conducted twice or thrice, so that if there is any deviation or if there is an error, that can be covered or that can be compensated. So after conducting the experiment for 3 times, so we are taking average. So even the in the formula also, if you are taken trials, 3 4 trials, in the formula also you can include those trial values and you can get the desired signal to noise ratio. So later, after conducting the experiment, so you are going to find out the signal to noise ratio. We'll discuss what is the signal to noise ratio, and also analysis of variance. We'll also discuss this in detail. After this signal to noise ratio, we can get the response plot. We can draw the response plot, and with that, our response table, with that response table, we can say among the available factors, available levels, these particular factors are good. So if you choose this particular factor and these particular levels, your performance will be good. So such conclusions we will get. And by analysis of variance among the available factors, any particular factor which is having more importance, more significance, that particular factor we can know. So how much percentage it is contributing on the output. So these are the steps in Taguchi method. And after finding the optimal process parameters, we can verify that. So we have to conduct the experiment once again with the optimal process parameters, and without optimal process parameters we have to conduct, and we have to compare it. So then we will know how much the process is improved or how much performance is improved by selecting these optimal process parameters. So we'll discuss about orthogonal array. So orthogonal array is a matrix of numbers arranged in columns and rows. So here there are some numbers. So one, two, three. Suppose there are levels. So it will be a matrix or it is an array. So each column represents a specific factor or condition that can be changed. So each column, it will represents any factor. Suppose if there it is having 3 4 factors, 4 columns will be there, and under each column and each row there will be numbers. So that particular number should represent of that particular factor. You need to select that level. So I will show the one orthogonal array also. So this is the representation of orthogonal array. So this is L9 2 power 3. So this is an L9 orthogonal array. L represents Latin squares, so number of rows. So this represents there are 9 experiments that are to be conducted, and this 2 represents there are only 2 levels and there are 3 factors. So there are 3 factors and 2 levels. So this is L9 2 power 3. Suppose L9 3 power 3 means there are 3 factors and 3 levels. So this is how this is the representation of orthogonal array. So I will show some of the orthogonal arrays here. So L4, L6, L9. So these are different combinations. So I will also show one of the orthogonal array in the future slides. And again, we'll go back. So this is a L9 orthogonal array. In this L9 orthogonal array, it says like electrolyte concentration. This is one of the factor. This factor should be selected at level 1. This particular factor should be selected at level 1. This factor should be selected at level 1. So these are all low levels. So similarly, this is at first level, similar second factor and third factor at intermediate level. So like that, we are going to select the different levels. And how to select this L9? So it is a so how to select the orthogonal array? So for it is a difficult, or we need to check it carefully. So we need to see how many factors we are having and how many combinations we can have, how many levels we are having. And also we have to see whether we are considering the interaction effects or not. Suppose if I am not worried about the interaction of effects, I'm worried only about the process parameters, at what settings I need to keep, then I will directly go with the uh, without interaction. So here each factor, it will be having levels. So for example, if there are 3 levels, we need to calculate degrees of freedom. So if a factor, here there are 6 factors, so 6 parameters. So each factor is having 3 levels. So degrees of freedom is levels -1, yes, -1. So we are having total 12 degrees of freedom. And here he is interested to find out the interaction effects also, so like a into b and c into e. So these 2 parameters, if 2 parameters are combined, what is the effect? So then the interaction effect, it will give 4 and 4, so 8. So total 20 degrees of freedom are there. And this 20 degrees of freedom, we have to add 1. After adding 1, we have to choose, see the table available combinations, whichever the table is near to this. So always we should go one experiment, one number higher than this, not lesser than this. So nearest one we have to choose. And here this is a standard orthogonal array table. So from this standard orthogonal array table, we can choose what type of experiments we are going to get. And we can also choose from Minitab. So this is available orthogonal arrays from Minitab. So even in Minitab, before we choose the orthogonal array, we should have to know the calculations. So like how many degrees of freedom are there, and what is the orthogonal array I'm going to select. Suppose if there are only 3 factors and 3 levels, then best. So 3 levels and 3 factors. So this is number of factors from 2 to 4. If for 2 factors or 4 factors, L9 is suitable. Suppose if you want to do interaction of the process parameters, 3 factors, 3 levels, and I am also interested to know the interaction. So then I'm going for L27 orthogonal array. So we will see few case studies. First, I will start with electrochemical machining. So this work I have done at NIT Warangal. So this is the schematic of electrochemical machining. So even though if for some of the participants, if these methods are new, so you can just see like input parameters as whatever the input parameters are showing. These are some input parameters and some output parameters. So before going further, I'll give a small introduction about that particular process. So this is an electrochemical machining process. This process is used to machine materials which are having high hardness. Here it is a non-contact type process. So there will be electrolyte passed through this tool, and there will be electrochemical reaction happens, and the workpiece will be removed in form of anodes. So this is a process, and this process is having some parameters. So what are the parameters? Electrolyte is a salt solution, so this salt solution will be passed. So this is one of the factors. So how much concentration we can take is the salt, one of the factor. And it also have voltage variations from 5 to 25 volts. We can give a DC power supply. Among 5 to 25 volts, which voltage I need to select? So that is a question. So then after conducting some experiments, I'll come to know this particular voltage among 5 to 25. This is the good voltage I need to select. So these things will be there. So and inter electrode gap. So you can see a small gap between the tool and workpiece. So how much gap we can maintain, whether it can be a 0.5 mm or 1 mm. Such gap also can be one of the factors. So this is the tool. So initially in this study, from initial experiments, this is a copper tool. We came to know that by doing insulation to this tool, then we are getting a good result. So after doing this insulation, we want to proceed further. So with insulated tool, what are the optimum process parameters? So for that, we have conducted some experiments, and we have found the optimum process parameters. So in this study, we have considered material removal rate. So usually in electrochemical machining, material will be very slow removed process. So here If you are able to improve the material removal rate, that is good. And also deviation is high. Suppose overcut, suppose if the tool size is 10 always we will get a hole size which is more than 10 So this process is basically for making holes on the workpiece, on a Inconel 625 workpiece. So Inconel 625 is a difficult to cut material. So, and a copper tool we have chosen, and for that copper tool epoxy is the coating, and electrolyte, so NaCl and HCl is mixed. So now some combinations are there. So voltage, feed, and electrolyte concentration, these are the factors I have considered, because these are important from the initial studies, preliminary studies, or preliminary experiments. And material removal rate and overcut I have considered as output parameters. And these are the among the available combinations. I told 5 to 25 volts. Among that, 10 to 20 volts, we were getting good results, like material removal rate was good and surface finish was also good. So among this 10 to 20, I have divided into 3 levels. And by applying this Taguchi method, I will come to know one of the level is good. Even electrolyte concentration, so 10 to 20, so 10%. So in the water, so 10% of weight salt is to be mixed. So whether I need to mix 10% of weight or 15% of weight or 20% of weight, so to get the good material removal rate. So then after conducting the experiments and after getting the results, I'll next time onwards we will proceed with the optimal process parameters. And feed also, in this process what happens, the tool will gradually move downwards. So here if you see, the gradually it will move downwards. How, at what speed it has to move downwards? So that is also a combination. So we are having different settings in the machine. So which setting I need to choose? So for that also I found like these three are good. Among these three, which one we can choose? So we sometimes we can divide into 5 levels also. Suppose the range is more, so then we can divide into 5 levels. So here the range is less, that's why we have divided into 3 levels. And this is orthogonal array. So this orthogonal array says like here if you see this table, so this is level 1, level 2, level 3. So like next time when I want to conduct experiment, I need to select electrolyte concentration at level 1. So 10% electrolyte concentration in the salt solution. In the solution I need to mix only 10% weight of the salt. So that is one thing. And feed at a low level, so this zero point 0.1 mmq per minute, and voltage at 10 volts. So with these settings, I have conducted the experiment and I have recorded the material removal rate and the overcut. So material removal rate was measured by weight of the workpiece. So before making the hole, what is the weight? After the hole is made, what is the weight? So we'll know the weight difference. So by time, how much time we have machined this. So by that we'll get material removal rate. Similarly, overcut by a coordinate measuring machine. So how much, what is the circularity or what is the diameter of the hole produced at different heights, and based on the average diameter, we came to know the deviation from the existing tool diameter. So these two output parameters we have measured. So here at all 9 combinations, at 2-3 trials we have done, and we got the output parameters. So output parameters are material removal rate. Always material removal rate should be maximum and surface roughness should be minimum. So this table shows the output of material removal rate. So we have got the outputs of all the 9 experiments. From all the 9 experiments, uh, so we have to find out the signal to noise ratio. So signal to noise ratio, as we have discussed, it is the ratio of desired value by undesired value, uncontrollable value. So there is an output and there are some disturbances also. So always whenever the signal to noise ratio is maximum, so that particular value experiment is considered to be a good experiment. Since here all are negative, so maybe this is the maximum signal to noise ratio value. So 0.45. 45 gram per minute. This is the highest material remove rate. So if I want to do machining very fast, then every time I can select these parameters. So this is the condition. But apart from these conditions, there may be another condition which can give more than this 0.45. That's why this Taguchi method will be helpful. So there is a one more step where we can find the response table. So from that response table, so we can get another combination. So we can see the next step here. So this is the response table. So before going to this, so how this signal to noise ratio is calculated. So this is the formula. There are three types of characteristics in calculating the signal to noise ratio. One is higher the better, lower the better, and nominal the better. So higher the better means for the values, for the output parameters, for the responses where we desire higher the better. Suppose material removal rate, always it should be high. So if I want that output to be always high, then I will go for this higher the better. So lower the better if surface finish is there. So always if the surface roughness value should be minimum, so then I'm going for lower the better. So we can calculate the according to this formula. Suppose here 0.088, this is y. So 0. So -10 log 1 by 0.088 square will give the signal to noise ratio of this. So similarly, for all the 9 experiments, this signal to noise ratio was found. So we can calculate if there are 2-3 trials. So we can take the sigma of that. So how many number of trials? Suppose if I made 5 trials, in this place 5 will be there. So it depends. Otherwise, we can take the average here only, and directly without this 1 by n, we can directly take this. So signal to noise ratio is found. So after finding the signal to noise ratio, response table we have to find. So in response table, so first one is electrolyte concentration at 10%. So we have to do the average of all these three. Electrolyte concentration at 10%. So minus 21.11, minus 10.75, minus 6.23. So this is the response. And similarly for this one, 15% electrolyte concentration and 20% electrolyte concentration, these are the things. So all the three are written here. So for feed at level 1, so this is little tricky. Like feed at level 1, you have to take output of first experiment and output of fourth experiment and also output of seventh experiment. Similarly, feed at level 2, output of second experiment and fifth experiment and eighth experiment. So this is nothing but we are doing the average of those three signal to noise ratio. From these three signal to noise ratios, so we can get the maximum signal to noise ratio. Where is the maximum signal to noise ratio is there? So you can see A at level 2, B at level 3, and C at level 3 are the parameters at which we got maximum signal to noise ratios. And according to Taguchi method, so these are the optimal conditions. So A at level 2, B at level 3, and C at level 3. So these are the optimal conditions. If we do the electrochemical machining at these process parameters, we'll get maximum material removal rate. And this is the signal to noise graph. So whatever the mean signal to noise ratios we got, that particular graph we can plot here. So both are same. So whatever the output we can see here, parameters we can get here, same thing we can see here also. And this is analysis of variance. In analysis of variance, we will know the percentage contribution of each process parameter. So electrolyte concentration. So according to this, electrolyte concentration at 4.5% and feed at 53% and voltage at 20%. So we are getting the percentage contributions. So A2, B3, C1, and percentage contribution of each output, each input parameter is also found here. Similarly, for overcut, so for overcut, always it is desired like overcut should be as minimum as possible. So that's why we have to go for the formula lower the better. So here lower the better. So minus 10, 10 log 1 by n sigma yi square. So this formula will get lower the better. And nominal the better if there is any desired value. Suppose you have that particular output should meet a desired value at that time. Nominal, suppose 10 is the desired value, so we got 9.9, so it is closer to 10, or I got 9.6, so 9.9 is closer to 10, so 9.9 is considered as the closest value. So in such cases we are using this nominal the better criteria. So here also all the output parameters were measured, so by coordinate measuring machine, and signal to noise ratio was found. Among this signal to noise ratios, next one is response table. So by response table, so we can get the, here also we have to take the maximum. So for material removal rate we have taken maximum, even though if it is a lower the better characteristic, we have to take the maximum value only. So only while calculating the signal to noise ratio, we are using the lower the better characteristic. Once we found the signal to noise ratio, further steps will be same. So with this, we got the optimum process parameters. So from here, A1, B1, and C3. Electrolyte concentration at level 1, feed at level 1, and voltage at level 3. So these are the optimal process parameters, and percentage contribution also we have got. So 19% is for electrolyte concentration, 47, suppose here 47% feed rate is having, so then we can concentrate more on this feed rate. Why? Because it is having more effect, whether it may be increasing or decreasing, it is having more effect. So this is how we can calculate. So later we have to do the confirmation experiment. So by conducting the confirmation experiments, we can get the how much this optimum, this is the optimum process parameters, and this is a initial process without optimization. This is the material removal rate obtained. So this is the with optimal process parameter. So without optimum process parameter, 0.412 gram per minute is the out MRR, but here 0.48 it is increased. So similarly for overcut, so without optimum process parameter, it is 1.4 overcut was there, but by using this optimum process parameters, so we got less overcut. So there is a formula to predict this, and also we can compare, and we will know, we can see, we can verify that these are only the optimal process parameters. So this is about Taguchi methods, and for this particular case study. And the next case study, so I want to go in for the this one, metal cutting area. So whatever the case study I have presented is for uh, a non-traditional machining. So here I want to show like different criteria for conducting experiments, and how this Taguchi method is different. So I just want to present this area of work in which how this Taguchi method was helpful, and also how the other statistical techniques were helpful, and what are the other types of criteria we have chosen. So entire case
Sir,
study I want to present. So this
sir,
work is
Chakkal,
yes,
one second, sir. There is one question from Lijo Paul, sir. He is
yes.
is asking, can you give equation for calculation of mean signal to noise ratio? Is it random selection or for taking average? And what is the formula for predicting optimum process parameters? So these are
Yeah,
the two questions that was raised by you.
sure, sure, sir. I will just similarly same table I am presenting now also. I will
Yes, sir.
present.
Yes.
So for mean signal to noise ratio, we have to select according to the level. So that is first one. And random experiments. So what? So you can conduct the experiments randomly, But when you are calculating, calculating, this orthogonal array has to be kept in the order only. So that also I'll just show. So before going, suppose yes. So here also some uh, we have some signal to noise ratios. So this is for a different case study. Suppose these are material removal rates. So after material removal rates, I found the signal to noise ratios. After finding the signal to noise ratio, the question is how the mean signal to noise ratios are calculated. So, this signal to noise ratios are found by the characteristics higher the better, lower the better. Such characteristics we'll find. Suppose this is cutting speed. So cutting speed at level 1. So this is, we have to take the average of three signal to noise ratios which are at level 1. Suppose here velocity at level 1. So for surface roughness, so these three values should be taken as average. And second step, velocity at level 2. So cutting velocity at level 2. So these three should be made average. And third step is cutting velocity at level 3. So these three should be made average. So next one is feed rate at level 1. So if you see feed rate at level 1, it is at experiment number 1. And similarly, feed rate at level 1 is at experiment number 4. At level feed rate at level 1 is at experiment number 7. So experiment number 1, experiment number 4, and experiment number 7. So signal to noise ratios of these should be calculated. So this is how we are going to calculate the mean signal to noise ratios. And randomness, suppose I can conduct these 9 experiments in any random order which I like, or according to the parameters. Suppose sometimes that particular parameter, once it is changed, we cannot repeat it. So in such cases, all such things I can do. But after conducting the experiments in random, when I'm writing the output parameters, I have to arrange all these things in a correct this order only. So these two things we have to do. So second study is about this missionability studies of difficult to cut materials. So in this study, so we have compared different uh, cutting cooling environments. So like in metal cutting, so if we see, so there are so much of defects that occurs. So like continuous chips will be coming. So this is a cylindrical rod. So on this cylindrical rod, we will use some of the tips. So this is a tool holder. On this tool holder, there will be a tip. So this tip will come into contact with the workpiece, and the workpiece will be removed in form of chips. After some time, this tool tip will get weared out. So we have to replace the tool tip. Once the tool tip will get weared out, so it adds cost to the machining. So if the tip is weared out quickly, so machining cost is increased gradually. So we have to select the conditions such a way that the tool tip will wear out at very less rate, or the tool life will be more. So here we can observe the wear of the tool tip under the microscope, and we can say like whether we can reuse it or we can replace it. So these are the different types of wears that occur on the tool tip. So in this particular study, so we have compared 2-3 uh, cooling environments. So in metal cutting, so as you all know, like the tool tip will come into contact with the workpiece, and there will be a rapid heat generated, and the chip will rapidly rub on the tool surface. A lot of heat will be generated. So to reduce this, we need cutting fluids. So these cutting fluids, there are several types of cutting fluids. These cutting fluids are nowadays like environmental. They are causing a environmental pollution, and also they are having serious effects to the operators they are working on. So that's why we have chosen to compare all these in different cooling environments, and we want to recommend for this difficult to cut materials what type of cooling environment is good, and among the cooling environments what cutting conditions we have to choose. So and if there are different comparison of tool tips, what tool tip has to be chosen. So such types of studies we have done. So in that, so we have mainly focused on three types of cooling environments. One is minimum quantity lubrication, cryogenic machining, and dry machining and wet machining. These are the four different types of cooling environments. So dry machining is nothing but, so this is how the metal cutting operation happens. So this is a workpiece material. On this workpiece material, the tool, if it is rubbing on the workpiece material with a lot of force, the chip will be coming out, and this chip will be continuous. So based on the experimental studies, we have to see that the favorable chips will be produced, and also tool tip will be tool wear will be very less, surface finish will be good. So for such conditions we have to conduct experiments. So those things I can discuss now. So just before going proceeding further, I just want to show these are the basic terminologies. This is a dry machining. In dry machining, we don't use any cooling environment. So simply directly the tool tip will be machining. So, and the second one is minimum quantity lubrication. So in this, the cutting fluid is mixed with the compressed air, and this compressed air is supplied onto the uh, workpiece. So mist is supplied onto the workpiece. So, and the third one, so in this MQL we can also have different types of cutting fluids, different types of nanoparticles. So all these things, so we can suppose if I want to have a different 2-3 varieties of nanoparticles, then I can take this Taguchi method. So selection of nanoparticles I can consider as one of the factor, different types of nanoparticles as levels, and I can conduct the experiments and I can get the which nanoparticle and at which conditions we can do the machining. So other one is cryogenic machining. So in this cryogenic machining, liquid nitrogen is impinged onto the machining surface. So then the heat will be generated. So altogether we have four environments. So these four environments, which environment I have to choose? So four are cooling environments. So which I have to choose? So for that, I need to conduct some experiments. So directly in Taguchi also we can do. Otherwise, we can simply compare. Suppose we have initially proceeded with one factor at a time approach. So in one factor at a time approach, so combination of all the, suppose cutting velocity is there. Cutting velocity at all combinations, all the available combinations we have increased. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is for at dry machining, wet machining, minimum quantity lubrication, and cryogenic machining. So at all the four combinations, when we have varied, so we found like cryogenic machining was best. So at this condition, so we need not go with the Taguchi method. So with this one factor at a time, so we can know which method is better. So similarly, we have observed for various chips. So at which cooling environment we are getting favorable chips. So from all the initial experimental studies, even we have observed the tool tips under the scanning electron microscope, and we have observed like in cryogenic machining only less wear is occurred. So then we are focusing on cryogenic machining only. So from the initial one factor at a time approach, so we from the all the available four cooling environments, we came to know cryogenic machining is best. So it is one of the promising cooling technique. So once I came to know this is the one of the promising cooling technique, then I need to see with this technique what are the improvements I can do. So with the cryogenic machining technique, what are the improvements I can do? Or by using this technique, again there will be combinations, cutting velocity, feed, depth of cut, and which cutting velocity, feed, depth of cut I need to choose. So for that, so this Taguchi method will be very much important. So I'll just show this Taguchi method. So here we have selected uh, three process parameters: cutting velocity, feed rate, and depth of cut. And three parameters are having three levels. So before coming to these three levels, we have done initial trial experiments. So we have done experiments which are less than 25 meter per minute, and we have also done experiments which are with the cutting velocities more than 132 meter per minute. But we came to know at between 25 and 132 meter per minute, we are getting the favorable material removal rate and also surface roughness. That's why we have chosen this as the levels for our study. And we are also not interested in interaction of these parameters. So we have simply chosen L9 orthogonal array. Similarly, this is the L9 orthogonal array and signal to noise ratio. So as I discussed earlier, signal to noise provides a measure of impact of noise factors on performance. The term signal represents desired value for output characteristics, and the term noise represents undesired value. Larger the signal to noise ratio, more robust the product is against the noise. So always we desire the signal to noise should be larger. So here also we have to choose these characteristics: quality, higher the better or lower the better. So for material removal rate, higher the better. For surface roughness, lower the better. Or the tool wear, always tool wear should be less, then I will go for lower the better. When it comes to tool life, so tool life means always we need more tool life, then higher the better we have to choose. So here these are the output parameters. Three output parameters we have considered for the initial study. One is surface roughness. Surface roughness was measured by surface profilometer, and this wear, flank wear, measured under microscope, optical microscope, and material removal rate. So material removal rate, we have measured the weight of workpiece before and after machining, and we have calculated the time taken also. Weight by the time will give the material removal rate. We can also directly go by formula VFD, that is also there. So signal to noise ratios were found for surface roughness, this is for wear, and this is for material removal rate. After finding the signal to noise ratios, so mean signal to noise ratios were calculated. After finding the mean signal to noise ratios, whichever is the maximum value, so that is considered as optimal. So cutting velocity, this is optimal. Feed, this is optimal. And depth of cut, this is optimal. This is a manual calculation. So actually in Taguchi method, we can do it by Minitab software also. When we are doing with Minitab software, so if we select the process parameters and levels and choose the orthogonal array correctly, it will give the orthogonal array on a spreadsheet. In that, if we enter the output parameters, it will automatically calculate the signal to noise ratios. It will automatically show this plot and plot this mean signal to noise ratio, and also it will recommend. So this is manual, and also you can do it if the data is more or number of factors are more. Suppose this is for 9, it's a simple, but if you are doing L27, so at that cases you can also go with softwares, Minitab software. So this is for flank wear. So this is for material removal. For three different output parameters, we got three responses. So this is by Taguchi method, we can get only a single, uh, for a single response, we'll get a one set of uh, optimum conditions. So since there are three output parameters, we got three sets of optimum parameters. So at the end, what it says, so it says like you have to machine by using for material removal rate all at low levels, and for surface roughness, velocity at high level, feed at low level, and depth of cut at low level. So similarly, for this is for surface roughness, for flank wear all at low levels, for material removal rate, all at high level. So for three output parameters, three combinations are there. So in Taguchi method, for we will get only one set of combinations for one output parameter. And later, so this is the uh, confirmation tests. From confirmation tests also, it is found like by the optimal process parameters are giving better results. So surface roughness is less compared to the initial process parameters. Flank wear is also less, and material removal rate is also high compared to the initial process parameters. So now what is the difficulty here? So suppose if I am interested to choose a set of parameters which will simultaneously increase my material removal rate, decrease my surface roughness, and decrease my flank wear. So only one set. Suppose so that is my requirement. So here, if the requirement is only you can concentrate on surface roughness, you ignore about tool wear. So suppose if I ignore about wear, so whatever may be the wear, so I'm not bothered. So means tools will get weighed quickly. I have to purchase new tools, so cost of machining will be increased. So then I'm not considered. So for certain uh, cases, we need not worry about the cost. So suppose we have to meet definitely that particular requirement. So then if I'm interested only in this surface roughness, this Taguchi method is best suited. Suppose if I'm interested only in material removal rate, I'm not much worried about the surface roughness or the wear. My productivity should be increased. Per day, I have to produce as many number of products as possible. So then I can directly select the conditions which are suitable for me. So in this Taguchi method, I can say this is one of the disadvantage. Suppose if I wish I want to do maximum material removal rate, by the same time less surface roughness, less wear. At that time, we need a single set of recommended parameters which will do all simultaneously. For that, this Taguchi method will not be helpful. So for that, there is another method called gray relation analysis. This gray relation analysis is also similar. So that's why I just kept this method so that you can compare and you can see the difference between these two methods. So gray relation analysis was proposed by Professor Chulong Deng. So this gray relation method will come under multi-criteria decision making. So in this gray relation analysis, here also we are finding out the objective initially. After that, we are finding the number of process parameters, their number of levels. After that, we are going to conduct the experiments. After conducting the experiments, we are normalizing all the outputs. So whatever the outputs that are achieved, so these outputs will be normalized. So we are giving the values between 0 and 1. And after that, we are finding out the gray relation coefficient. After finding the gray relation coefficient, gray relation grade, and we are getting the optimal solution. This optimal solution is a multi-objective optimization, whereas Taguchi method, it is a single objective optimization. So these are the advantages. So this can handle, so gray relation can handle if there is a very partial information. So this gray relation analysis can do such analysis. So before going to that, we'll just see some example. Suppose there are three alternatives. So suppose in the beginning of the presentation, I said like for some mobile, so we have to select a few specifications. Which specification is important? We have to give some weightage, and among all the available specifications in the market, we have to give the ratings. After that, whichever rating we are getting more for that particular weightage, we are going to select. Similarly, so we can see some example here. There are three alternatives: A1, A2, and A3, and there are some responses: response 1, response 2, response 3, response 4, and these are weights. Suppose among all this, I'm very much interested in response 3, but I'm not ignoring other responses. That's why I'm giving the weightage for the other responses also. So then, based on the values that I got, then I will decide by conducting the grade relation coefficient or grade relation grade, I will find which alternative, which experimental setting I'm going to do. So this is a decision matrix. After this, all these 25, 10, 30, all these things will be normalized. So they will be kept under 0 and 1. Suppose see, I just took this 3 experiments data because for convenience. So next we can see for 9 experiments. Suppose here 30 is maximum, 10 is minimum, and 25 is in the middle. So that's why 30 is becoming 1, minimum has become 0, and middle is 0.75. So similarly, so here 30 is in the second level. So this is 1. So minimum is in the third level. So this is 0. So like that, all the outputs that are achieved will be normalized between 0 and 1. So for the normalization, we have a formula. So that we'll discuss in the further slides how this formula will work. And after normalizing, with this formula, we are finding the grade relation coefficient. So after finding this grade relation coefficient, we are finding the grade relation grade. So when we are finding the grade relation grade, these weights are also coming into picture. So if we are not giving any weights, directly we are making an average. Otherwise, if there is a weight, that particular output will be given more importance. Suppose here this C3 is given more importance. So after this grade relation grade, whichever grade relation grade is higher, that particular setting should be chosen. So this is about grade relation grade. But further, we can further do the response table, all those things. So I'll just show that. So this is Taguchi based grade relation analysis. So we are going with grade relation analysis. After that, we after getting the output, we are finding the signal to noise ratios also. I will just show that. So if you see this table, so this is for cryogenic machining only. For cryogenic machining, so cutting speed, feed, depth of cut were selected as process parameters. So here we are interested to see which tool insert is good. So we have 3 set of tools. One is uncoated carbide tool, PVD coated tool, and CVD coated tool. So these are multi-layer coating. ALTIN, this is one coating, and this is having multi-layers. So among the 3 combinations, and from the initial studies, from the initial one factor at a time approach, all the things I came to know cryogenic machining is a good process. So after that, I have so many other variations like cutting speed, feed, depth of cut. There are some variations, and also tools, different tool inserts are there. At that time, if I want to know which tool insert is good, so I can repeat all the experiments. I can say this particular tool insert is good, but without repeating all the experiments, with very less number of experiments, if I want to decide which tool insert is good and also which combinations are good, so then this type of experimental plan will be suitable or recommended. So here, these are the 3 available. So we can choose, suppose many researchers have seen, so say there will be a single tool insert, but the tool radius, nose radius will be selected as one of the level, or rake angle or some angle will be selected as one of the level. So here we are very interested in among the available inserts, which tool insert is good. So, and after that, all the procedure is the same. So we are just finding we are writing the orthogonal array. Suppose here if you see one more factor is added. So in the previous cases I have shown case studies for 3 factors and 3 levels. So here there are 4 factors and 3 levels. So that's why, so this is a combination. So up to 13 factors we can get. So, and if I'm interested in combination of cutting speed and feed, then I can go for many number of experiments like L27 also I can do. So here we have measured the cutting force, surface roughness, flank wear, material removal rate. These are the 4 output parameters that we have measured. Among the 4 output parameters, So these are the out. So for cutting force, what should be the uh, characteristics that we need to consider for cutting force if it is a Taguchi method? Higher the better or lower the better? So usually cutting force we desire to be less. So lower the better we will choose. For surface roughness, what what characteristic we will take while finding out the signal to noise ratio? So lower the better, flank wear also lower the better, and material removal rate lower the better we are going to calculate. So since this is a gray relation analysis, directly we are not finding out the signal to noise ratios in the initial step. So we are normalizing. So since in the previous example also, as I have shown, so we need to normalize the values initially. So this is the formula for normalizing. This is nothing but by implementing this formula, maximum number will become 1 and the minimum value will become 0, and remaining values will be adjusted accordingly. So if you want, we can compare. Suppose uh, main cutting force. So main cutting force among all the things, so we can see main cutting force should be minimum. So among all the things, 56 is the minimum. So here minimization is our priority. So whichever is the minimum one will get one value, and the whichever is the maximum 126 is undesired. Undesired one will become, so suppose third one, this is 185 is undesired, so it becomes 0. So like that, similarly surface roughness also, if you see, seventh experiment is very much desired. So if you see the surface roughness here, 1.514 micron is the best surface roughness, surface finish that we can achieve. So whereas 2.413 is the poor surface finish. So that's why the third experiment is normalized to 0. This one is normalized to 1. Remaining one are adjusted accordingly. Similarly, flank wear also. So why we are doing? Because suppose here, if I am not giving any weightages, suppose I am not bothered about which surface roughness or flank wear, simply I will take average. So if I take average, whichever value is getting more, so that is considered as a good. So next step is there, that is gray relation coefficient. So these are nothing but statistically we are doing. So once we get an output, it will be difficult to predict or difficult to come to conclusions by seeing it or by plotting some graphs. So if we do some statistical techniques, it will become very easy for us to draw or come to some conclusions. That is where these statistical techniques are very much helpful to us. So here, this is gradation coefficient. So uh, gradation coefficient is found. After that, gradation grade is also calculated. So among this, whichever is having more gradation grade, that particular value is considered, that particular experiment is considered as good experiment. And we need not stop here. So I have seen different papers, and few papers, they will directly take this gradation grade. With this, they will do the mean response table. And some papers, they will do signal to noise ratio, and they will calculate the mean response table. So it depends on whatever is the convenient method they can choose. So here for gradation grade only, the averages or the response table was considered. So after this, so whichever value is maximum, here also once the stage is completed where signal to noise ratio or gradation grade is completed, further among the available levels, whichever is the maximum, that particular combination is good combination or the suitable combination or optimal combination. So here, if we see levels, cutting speed at level 3 is the optimum, and feed at level 1 is the optimum. So here I have not highlighted, but I'm just seeing whichever is the highest number. So here, uh, depth of cut at level 1 is the optimum, And tool type, so this is important. So we have started the experiments to see which tool type is good. So among this, the level 1, so first tool type is good. So quickly I will go back and see this tool type. PVD coated tool insert is good. So by this analysis, I got PVD coated as a good, and also the combination I got. So this I can do for multi-objective optimization as or a single objective optimization also. If it is a single objective optimization, I will go for a Taguchi method. If it is a multi-objective optimization, I will go to this gray relation analysis. So further confirmation tests can be done. So for prediction, there will be a formula. We can get the predicted relation grade, and with this we have to conduct the experiment, and we will get the values of cutting forces, tool wear, material removal rate, surface roughness, and we can compare with the existing things. So we can also see the improvement. This is analysis of variance. So here also we can do analysis of variance. From analysis of variance, so we will know which factor is having more percentage contribution. So here the factor B is having more percentage contribution, that is feed, and even C, depth of cut, is having 25, and uh, type of tool, that is also having some effect. So this is about gray relation grade. So these are the optimum observations, the optimum combination of cryogenic turning process. So in the cryogenic turning process, so this PVD coated insets were we found they were optimum to choose them. While choosing them, we also recommended cutting velocity at 120.89, which is at level 3, feed at 0.048 mm per revolution, depth of cut at 0.4 mm. These are the optimum process parameters for multi-objective optimization. So here material removal rate is increased, and surface finish is decreased, cutting forces are decreased, tool wear is also decreased. So for that, these are the single set of optimum conditions. And also in this, if I want any of the output parameter more importance, I can give weightage for that. So suppose if the customer is very much interested in the quality, then I will give more weightage for the surface finish. By the same time, I want to produce as many components as possible. So then I will give a relevant lesser weightage for material removal rate. Then I'm not bothered about cost. Suppose I'm very much interested in cost. I have to produce the components at good quality. By the same time, I'm not. I have to reduce the cost. Then I will give weightage for the wear. So less, so such a way that less wear can be occurred. So this how we can get optimal conditions. By selecting these optimum conditions, we can increase the productivity, we can reduce the tool wear. By reducing the tool wear, cost of tool inserts cost will be reduced. If the cost tool inserts cost is reduced, machining cost also can be reduced. Surface finish also we can choose, get a good surface finish. So for getting a desired output, we can choose either Taguchi method or gray relation analysis. Gray relation analysis if multi-objective optimization. So we have to discuss about demerits or disadvantages of this method. So even though this is a very popular method, so nowadays there are very upcoming methods where suppose, so we can see few levels here. Suppose these are the levels. So at the end, I will get some combinations among this only. Suppose I may get cutting velocity 132 as the recommended setting, but in between 85 and 132, there may be another value which may give a very good result. So that particular that particular things this Taguchi method cannot give. So for that, there are some other optimization techniques, particle swarm optimization. So such techniques can be used. So this technique, it will give only among the selected process parameters, selected factors, and the selected levels. So this is all about Taguchi method and gradation analysis. So whatever I have case studies I have completed. So yeah, thank you all. So if there are any clarifications, so you can proceed.
So there is one question by Karthik. He is asking if we use cryogenic for cooling, that causes sudden cooling, which might reduce thermal stresses, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's the question.
So this cryogenic machining, so this is an upcoming technique. So this is nowadays it is gaining more popularity. So it will not have a sudden cooling. Why? Because when machining is happening, there will be a very lot heat generated. So this cryogenic machining, in this cryogenic machining process, the liquid nitrogen is mixed with the air, compressed air, and once it comes out, so it may come down to the atmospheric temperature, but the temperature will be very less, and also it will not be contact for a long time. So along with the tool, the supply also will be very moved. Suppose for example lathe, so we will uh, give the nozzle, we will keep the nozzle such a way that it travel along with the tool, so effects will be very minimum.
Yes, sir. Dear participants, if you have any other doubts, you can unmute and you may ask directly, or you may type in the chat window so that I can speak it out. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Hello.
Hello.
There was some disturbance by Lijo Paul's and he didn't answer. Any other? Okay. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir. Actually, if there is interaction between the parameters in Taguchi, how will you take care of that?
So interaction between parameters means if suppose in the similar example which I have shown, so there were three process parameters: cutting velocity, feed, and depth of cut. So by using only L9 orthogonality, I will just get which parameters are good. So interaction means, suppose if I want to know the effect of cutting velocity and feed and depth of cut and cutting velocity, the combination of two parameters on the output. In such a way, in such case, we have to calculate more degrees of freedom. So like in the previous slide where I have shown, so I will just go back to that slide. Yeah, so here there are six process parameters, six factors. So when there is an interaction of process parameters, we have to calculate degrees of freedom accordingly. So number of experiments will increase. So after that, the procedure will be same. So all the calculation of signal to noise ratios, calculation of one more concept is there. Among the interactions, some of the interactions will be insignificant. So then in ANOVA, we will come to know which interactions are insignificant. So then we will remove at that stage. Then we will say, so these three parameters are having this percentage contribution, and also combination of these two parameters is having percentage contributions. It depends on certain value. If it is less than the value, it will be ignored. So basically, after an analysis of variance, we will know whether the interaction of those parameters is significant or insignificant. So basically, we will conduct more number of experiments if there is an interaction of process parameters, and the procedure is same. So all the procedure will be same.
Sir, actually, there is another concept on linear graphs in Taguchi, no, sir. That also will help us to identify a particular column if there is an interaction. So if we have come to know that particular column can be selected, like if A, B, C are there, and A, B, if we multiply, so that A, B column is also provided in the Taguchi orthogonal arrays. But like he was asking, if that particular interaction is already understood, then using the linear graph, we can select that particular column in the entire orthogonal array. If I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir. Yes, that is true actually.
So, yes, sir, please. So that's how we were actually considering the interactions prior to going for Taguchi models. If we already know that this is how interactions are behaving, only then we can make that decision on which column to select based on the linear graphs.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's correct, sir. So, but in my cases, I have not
Yes, sir.
selected interactions. That's why I could not
yes, sir.
clearly give that.
So, any other doubts, please? Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Okay, sir. So if no doubts, then we can end the session here. So I once again thank Chakradhar sir for accepting our invitation and then giving the entire walk through the Taguchi methods. And sir has done many projects on PhD works on the area of Taguchi and in the area of cryogenic machining. I think that is the DST project that is ongoing, no, sir, for the cryogenic machining.
Correct, sir. Correct, sir. On
Yes, sir.
cryogenic machining, we are doing, and on cryogenic machining also 2-3 PhD students they have worked. So I'm just extending,
Okay.
or I'm working in that area only.
Oh, great, sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you for delivering the lecture, and I hope all the participants have gained the concepts and then use, because sir has started off with basics, fundamentals of optimization onwards, and then followed by different classifications of optimization, and then sir has gone to Taguchi and extended further to gray relation analysis. I think for multi-objective and all, if any papers are found in gray relation analysis, now the participants will be able to easily understand the flow, and then they can easily adapt this method as well. So thank you, sir. Thank you for extending your support and then giving us this talk. And I thank from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, BVRIT also. So thank you once again. And